So, Dave Vandermeer, Trapping World, built a cabin this year. Dave Wilcox Jr. has been doing a bunch of solar stuff to his little cabin. And he's off-grid. And Norm Time on the Line has done some finishing videos, wall capping and casing a window. And so this is what I've got into. That is a homemade scaffolding. When I finally get done with it, that stuff will be used on the barn. But this is what I've got so far. But before I explain what's been done, let me show you what it looked like before I started. Oh yeah. And you'll see what happened to that saw. So here we go. So that mess there is the old asbestos shingles that come off of this old coal camp house. Getting ready to put a window in there. Try to cover that bad block work up. Nothing against those guys, but they did the best they could. But that block work was done in the 70s, and this house was built in the 50s, and it's a coal camp house, like I said, and they built them in a hurry and used green lumber most of the time. So trying to fix that up, and then of course I added this part here. So we'll see how it turns out. Let's go check on the hen. Not a good sign where it's unplugged. Now before y'all say anything, that old B&D has cut through numerous block and metal, and it's been a good one. But I would finish it off on my place. Would have rented a saw, but I live too far out. I'll have to get my good circular saw out and finish this up. I really don't like using it on block, but I think that one there has seen better days. I believe she's about ready to burst into flames. Like I said, that's been a good one. I lost track how many years I've had that. And it's cut through concrete pads, blocks. Over at Joe's cabin, I think it was even used to cut through some sand rocks. So got no complaints about that saw, but she's going to have to go to the saw graveyard. Yeah, I might have to pull this away from the house. Smoke is getting this. Yeah, later. So got her roughed in. Had to break out my other saw, which I wasn't too happy about. But now I gotta figure out how to get my OSB on here to cover up that ugly block work. Bless those guys' hearts, they tried, I'm sure. But, sorry, there's a squirrel back there making a racket. In case anybody's wondering what that wire is there, that goes to my generator back in the shed. Goes into the breaker box in the house. And that goes to the submersible pump. I just wadded it up because that used to be buried. This all used to be, well, the ground used to come to right there. We had all this took out. So I've been working on this house for close to 15 years now. So should have seen it before I started. You think it looks like crap now. But anyway, I gotta get at it. Try to get my window in before it gets dark. So we'll see. Oh, and me a cup of coffee. Pardon my slurping. Hit the half-century mark. Sometimes you need a kick in the rear end to get you going about halfway through the day. So that's where the coffee comes in. So there's how it's looking so far. Of course, I had that side on already. But got one window put in. Would have installed the other one, but didn't have enough screen. Miscalculation, and there's no, well, let's just run out to town business here. So anyway, got the window put in. I got to try to cover all of that, and you can see that I got to start on the siding there. So I've got well, the traps are in the way, but there's where I cut out, put the window in. I've got to cover that block work there with polystyrene sheets. Put a little liquid nails on it, adhere it. And the siding has to be held on with Tapcons. So it's time consuming, and that's how it's going. But you know, said I've been chipping away at this for 15 years, so it'll get done one of these days. Later. So I'm getting a few strips fastened onto these blocks with Tapcons, and just got to show you all a side view of this. Look at that block work. Like I said, these guys did the best they can. They were building against, you know, the earth used to be way up here, like I explained. So they dug this basement out. It used to be on stilts, and did the block work, but boy, could have done a better job. So basically I'm just trying to cover this ugliness up, and there's no set way of doing this. You know, new construction it's by far easier than renovating, and anybody that's been in this business a while will tell you that. But been at this for 30 some years. Well, actually this year made 30, and hate to say it, but that's the worst block work I've ever seen. And I'm not a block layer. Hang on a minute, I'll show you what I did. I didn't dress mine up too well either, but I did the block on this addition here. Got a few gaps to fill in. Got in a bit of a hurry, but that's cosmetic. But anyways, I've got my work cut out for me to try to make this here look presentable. Like I said, I got my window in. I'll try to cover this up and go on up with the siding, and I'll put some more stuff on, and then I'll come back. So I've got a little bit more done on the bottom and up top. Putting those nailers in to kind of pad out the old rafters that are too short, and some of them's fairly rotten. About solid enough to at least fasten to. Those are on 2-foot centers. If I build, it's on 16-inch centers, but I got to go with what was here. So we got to match our band board to that, or some people call it a sub fascia, but I just called it a band board. Well, got to get back at it. Got really warm today.